Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 164 of my brand new Comics Haul series, where I show you guys all the new books that I pick up at my LCS every week. I've got a huge week of books this time. This has got to be the biggest one I've had in a while. I've got 8 single issues and then one collection that I'll show at the very end. So let's just get right into it. I'll blow through these because I do have a lot, but we'll start it off with Blood Hunt, starting off with number 4. So this is the penultimate issue of the main series, of the main event and everything. I'm a little bit behind on Blood Hunt. I've only read the first couple issues of the actual main event. I still have to read number 3. It's been pretty interesting, though. Definitely some really big Marvel Universe spanning things, as can be expected from big events like this. This is like the biggest event that Marvel has put out in a really long time. And I think they had like upwards of like 40 or 50 tie-ins with all the 3-issue miniseries that they're doing and stuff. I haven't been too invested in this event. I've just been getting the main series as well as like all the tie-ins that Jed MacKay himself is writing. And then I've also been getting the Strange Academy miniseries. But it's been fun. I won't unwrap this. I have the polybagged version because I've been getting the red band editions that you pay an extra $1 for, but you get like special panels where Pepe Larraz draws like more bloody, gory stuff, I guess, that's not included in the regular edition. I say stay away, honestly. I think the red band is fun. Like, it's a cool idea. It does come in a bag, which is fun, so you get to unbox every issue, basically, but you don't actually get very much extra content in terms of like plot or anything, so it's more just for the artwork. Honestly, it seems like more targeted towards collectors. But the other Blood Hunt issue that I picked up today was Moon Knight number 6. Really cool cover here. This one is mainly just focused around the Midnight Mission themselves right now, which was the organization that Moon Knight put together while he was still alive in the last run, which went like 30 issues. I recommend starting from the start if you haven't read any of this yet, because Moon Knight is one of my favorite ongoing Marvel series, but they've really been building up a lot of plot lines and progressing all the characters, all the supporting cast, I guess, basically, across those first 30 issues before they relaunched it with the title Vengeance of Moon Knight. And that was kind of just set up so that these characters could work on their own without actually having Mark Spector involved. I won't get into too many spoilers because we have had this other version of Moon Knight that's come to the surface that they've had to deal with in the first story arc before it started tying into Blood Hunt. But it looks like we have guest art on this one. Interesting looking artwork. It's definitely a little bit different than what we're used to with this series. So I'll be interested to see what they do with that and whether this person will be coming back on for guest art. But we still have Alessandro Capuccio doing most of the main issues. He did the first 5 and everything, which I was glad to see they relaunched with the exact same creative team. Next up, though, let's move on to the Spider-Man side of the Marvel Universe. We got Superior Spider-Man number 8. I think this is the last issue of this one. I'm a little bit behind on reading this one also. But from what I've read, I've really liked it. What I keep saying, though, is that it's really, really not good for new readers. Although it is a full relaunch and everything, it's the first Superior Spider-Man title we've had in a couple years now. It's really based on the original Superior Spider-Man run, on like things that have been happening recently with Doc Ock, and it's not new reader friendly in any way. But it just has to do with this villain from the Superior Spider-Man days, where Doc Ock had taken over Peter Parker's body. That really good run from back in like 2014, I want to say, or something like that. But it's the same writer, Dan Slott, who's back writing this again, which was the main reason I actually wanted to invest in it. I feel like even if like relaunches like this that are kind of just mooching off of like old success like Superior Spider-Man, even if they are a little bit of a cash grab a lot of the time, I think that if the original creative team is back on it, it's usually worth buying in the most part. This one also is pretty heavily involving Spider-Boy, which isn't my favorite because I feel like he's kind of getting in the way of just telling a really good Superior Spider-Man story. But Dan Slott has been super heavily invested in that character since he has his own solo title now and everything. And I guess he's going to be just writing the solo Spider-Boy title now that this is over, and that'll be his only title at Marvel. I dropped that one. I wasn't loving it. It seemed to be a little bit more like centered towards kids. I mean, still like a fun read and everything, but not quite enough to get me to keep picking it up. If you guys are still buying Spider-Boy, I'm curious to know what you're thinking of it down in the comments. But I think this is the last issue of Superior, if I'm not mistaken. Another Spider-Man title I picked up, the last one from Marvel that I got this week, was Spectacular Spider-Men, number 4. A lot of different adjectives, a lot of different plurals for how many spider people are in the spider titles coming out at Marvel right now. This one has been really good, though. I'd say this is my favorite out of all the Spider-Man stuff I'm buying. Besides Ultimate Spider-Man, maybe. That one's been really good. But this one is written by Greg Weisman. I'd never read anything by him before this. This might be one of his first Marvel comics, I think. He's been more involved in the television side of things, as far as I'm aware. But this has been doing a really good job building up some plot lines, finally introducing Arcade, as you saw on that first page, as the villain behind these people that have been like living out their best lives. A lot of the supporting characters have been living out their fantasies. We had kind of a weird like rekindled romance between Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker in the last issue, which doesn't make any sense. So it's really evident that Peter and Miles are in some kind of fantasy. They're being mind controlled right now. I thought that was a fun dynamic. I really like Humberto Ramos's artwork. It's definitely more lighthearted, but it is also fully in continuity with everything going on in Miles and Peter's solo titles right now. So just a really fun comic. You don't really need too much. You don't need to know too much about either of these characters to just dive into it. It's a really good solo title, and it helps to also be reading, Amazing Spider-Man and Miles Morales Spider-Man. But it's a fun read on its own. So yeah, I mean, it's only 4 issues deep. This is a huge recommendation from me. I say jump into it. Next up, though, let's move on to Image Comics. I've got 4 issues from them this week. Starting off with the Energon universe, we've got Void Rivals number 10. At this point, this is the only this is the only Energon universe title I'm still picking up. I've been thinking about trying out Scarlet and Destro, those new G.I. Joe ones, but I did drop Transformers, which is, I know, a really unpopular opinion. I know a lot of people are really loving that series, but since Daniel Warren Johnson isn't drawing it anymore, and also I just kind of felt lost with that series. Like, I didn't feel too emotionally connected to any of the characters. I understand that a lot of people that were into the original like G1 Transformers show and everything that are more familiar with the characters going into it care a lot more. But it was just a little bit hard to wrap my head around these robots, I guess. I don't know. I know that's a super unpopular opinion, so I don't like to talk about it too much on the channel because I don't really know if anyone can relate. But this one has been okay. I haven't been loving the second story arc as much as the first one, to be completely honest. I'm starting to lose track of, I guess, like the lore of the universe and everything they've built up with these two alien races that are at war with each other is kind of the idea behind it. And the two main characters, Solila and Derek, I think is the other one's name, have been on an adventure together. They're kind of both escaping their own governments and finding a way to succeed on their own or whatever, and we've seen them kind of building trust with each other as it's gone on. The artwork is really cool. I do like, this seems pretty ambitious on Robert Kirkman's part to just introduce a fully new universe like this that's also kind of loosely connected to whatever's going on in Transformers right now. There's like a Transformer that's featured in this right now, and I know that some of the space characters from like Transformers lore have been involved also. I'll stick with it for now. I at least want to finish off the second story arc. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking of like the general status of the Energon universe right now down in the comments. Next up, let's move on to Ghost Machine, another big Image Comics imprint right now. Starting it off with Rook Exodus, this is number 3 of this series. This one, on the other hand, has been really good. It's also a fully new universe, but it has been telling a really good self-contained story. There's a lot going on in this one. It's basically about this character, Rook, who lives on an abandoned planet that Earth, I guess, like terraformed since, or that, humans terraformed because planet Earth was in dire conditions after global warming and everything. But it turned out to be kind of a corporate scam, I guess, because Rook was like a hostile environment with these animals that they can like control with helmets that have kind of gone haywire since everyone left the planet and like went to another one. So Rook is one of the only survivors, and now it's kind of like a Mad Max-esque like abandoned planet where they chase each other in cars and stuff, and they have these crazy animal helmets. It's fun. Like, it's super ambitious. It's definitely kind of reminding me of like crazy Image 90s series in certain ways. The artwork is really, really cool by Jason Fabok. I like Jeff Johns' writing, and you can just appreciate something like this that's really, really crazy and super out there. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot that goes into it, but good artwork, good story. You can't ask for much more from a monthly comic. You get like cardstock cover, all the pages you're supposed to from Ghost Machine, so it's a good deal for a good price. And just a good comic overall. I know a lot of people have been getting this one, so you've probably heard it already, but that's definitely a recommendation. Next up, this is probably my least favorite, to be completely honest, of the Ghost Machine titles. I've still been enjoying it okay, and I do want to stick with it and see where it goes, but this is Redcoat, number 3. Oh, I forget, they always do wraparound covers for these Redcoat issues, so that's cool. Brian Hitch does the artwork in this one. I like his style. I like these like double page spreads that he does. His artwork is really dynamic because Redcoat is always running around everywhere, running away from people, and I think he draws that really well. It's just a little bit much to keep track of, I'd say. It's an interesting title in terms of like where this series falls within the larger Unnamed universe that this part of Ghost Machine is part of. It's like an imprint, like a sub-imprint within an imprint within Image Comics. It's very confusing. But Geiger and Junkyard Joe are also set in this same Unnamed universe. Simon Pure, though, the main character of this one, is like this time-traveling guy who's immortal from back during, the original American Revolution. He was British, but he's, I think, alive all the way until like the days of Geiger, which is like the future of America. So it's just charting this whole history of these unnamed heroes, I guess is the main idea. across American history and into the future. I really like that idea. I think this one is a little bit hard to keep track of. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of like the character's mannerisms himself. He kind of gets on my nerves. I think that's the idea though. It's just young Einstein following him around right now and them traveling through time. So interesting. I like the idea. It's ambitious in a similar way as Rook Exodus, but it doesn't work for me quite as well. The last single issue I picked up this week though was Knights number 8. This one has been really, really good. Each issue is pretty standalone in an interesting way, but there's obviously more lingering plot lines that are progressed every single issue. It has to do with these kids living in, I think, Miami, in just this fantastical world. There's ghosts involved, there's demons, and all kinds of different stuff. There's a vampire who's one of the main characters. This has been a pretty breakout hit for me. I wasn't expecting to be picking this up at all, but my shop handed out like a freebie of the first issue, and then I subscribed to it since then. I've been really liking it. It's definitely just a lot different from anything else going on right now on the shelves. It's just a fun format. I like the artwork. There's also like, I know, playlists that come out with every single issue. I'm not sure if it's like original music or just songs that they think fit the vibe of the issues, I guess. But yeah, there's like music that you can listen to while you're reading it. That's a little distracting for me personally, so I haven't been doing that. But if you're into that kind of thing, this series has that to offer. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I hope they keep this going for a while. I think it's just ongoing, so hopefully they have enough of a readership to continue publishing it. Lastly, though, like I said, I did get a collection. You probably already saw the side of it. But Watchmen, I think this is just the complete collection. The classic Alan Moore series with Dave Gibbons. I have never read it. This is like probably the most recommended comic ever. A lot of people think this is the best comic that was ever made. I'll show some of the interior artwork. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all heard of it before. And I was just seeing that they're doing a couple like animated movies, I think, on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of in the style of Marvel's What If, but I heard they're like trying to stay true to the source material. So I might try to read this and then watch those movies once they come out. I'm not sure what the release date is looking like. But yeah, this should be really good. I've read Miracle Man by Alan Moore. I think that's all I've read by him, actually. I haven't even read like The Killing Joke or anything. So I'm definitely behind on my Alan Moore on these classic comics like this that everyone always talks about. But I liked Miracle Man, so I'm looking forward to this one. And yeah, let me know if you liked it down in the comments. A lot of you guys have probably read this. So those were all the issues that I picked up. I know this is a longer video because I had a lot to go through right there. But let me know if it was a big week for you guys too. What'd you get down in the comment section below? Also, thanks for the support in my recent video, the behind the scenes comic shop one. That's like already become the most popular video on my channel, the most viewed ever. So I've been really appreciating having that kind of support on a fun video like that. I wasn't expecting it to do so well. So thank you guys for that. But that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.